Hey everybody, this is the 20-gallon tank I keep set up for my wife to enjoy. And tonight we're just going to get in there and do some basic maintenance. You can see the floating water sprite is just growing out of control. And that, in turn, is blocking all the light from inside the tank. So the glass probably doesn't need very much wiping or anything. It just needs a basic water change, and we need to get those plants thinned out a little bit in order to really see in there and get a good look at the occupants. This Anubias over here is growing pretty out of control too, so I may cut that Anubias back while I'm in there just to let some more light in. So I got a German blue ram in here that, as of the other day, was still doing well. It's a little dark right now, I can't even see it, but I'm sure it's in there and still doing fine, so we'll get to see it on the back end of this video. So enough of the before. And there's your after. So there's a pretty good look at that German blue ram front and center right there. You can see how beautiful it looks. I did check the nitrate on the water before we did the water change, and it was up around 80 parts per million, which is about typical for this tank. This is one of the tanks that I don't see very often. I don't really get in here. I mean, you saw in the before, this tank is one of the ones that I just don't really get to very often. When I do get to it, I usually come in and do a pretty fair amount of change, and then it'll just sort of start growing back in and it'll fill back in. So you can see I removed a lot of the floating water sprite. I removed a lot of that, and that is the lace leaf variety. You can see how nice and fine those leaves are there. So I do have plenty of that for sale now. If anybody's interested, you can check out my email down below. And I also cut that Anubias down. So I know you're not really going to get the best look at it in this lighting, but that gives you an idea. Sounds like Squeaker just joined us. That gives you an idea of the chunk of Anubias I now have. And this, of course, would have to go in a larger package than I normally do. So if you're interested in that, again, check out my email down below. Contact me, and we can make arrangements. I also have the lace leaf water sprite. I've got Java fern. I got Java windelove, and loads of Java moss, etc. So if you're interested in any kind of aquatic plants, again, contact me. Let me know. We'll talk. Other than that, not a lot to talk about. I did wipe the glass down. Not much came off of the glass, but I did wipe it down, so it's nice and pretty now. And I will say I did a slightly larger water change than I normally do. The water seemed to be a bit more tannin stained than usual. It's probably been a little longer than I thought since I've been in here doing a water change. And so instead of just doing the 5-gallon bucket that I normally do, I did a 5-gallon bucket, and then I did about a half of another bucket. And that drained the tank down to about, I don't know, a little more than halfway down between the substrate and the top of the tank. So I'm calling it at least a 50% water change. So the nitrates are probably down to about 40 parts per million. The pH on the before water, I don't know what it is now, but the before water was about 6.5, right where it usually sits. The general hardness was showing about mid-range, which it always does on these dip tests. It's not quite as accurate as I'd like it to be with the general hardness, but it was close enough. And again, everything in this tank is just sort of ticking over. Not a lot to talk about. I just get in here from time to time, do a little bit of maintenance, and when I do, I like to try to shoot a little bit of video. So there you go. That's a look at my wife's tank before and after. Basic water change. I, of course, also changed the filter pad while I was in there. The biological filtration got cleaned out the last time I was in there, so that was still free-flowing and nice and open, so I didn't have to worry about doing any cleaning to the biological filtration. I just swapped out the filter pad, wiped the glass down, did a big water change, and removed a bunch of plants. So there you go. Make sure you're subscribed. You don't want to miss anything I got coming up. You never know what it's going to be with me. I do a live stream every Friday night and Sunday night at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, and I do a live stream for my members only on Wednesdays at 8 p.m. So if you're interested in that, you can join up for a basic membership. Otherwise, I'm going to say thanks for watching this one. Again, make sure you're subscribed, and I will see you real soon in the next one.